How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Tom, when you're meditating and supposed to be thinking about nothing, what food are you actually thinking about?
You know, after watching this episode, I kind of feel like the answer is brisket because I love a good brisket. But you know what? I'll go with my pork belly. Pork belly is always on my mind. I just love that gooey, tender piece of meat, and it's close to the brisket. So I'll go with pork belly for lunch.
Now, when I'm meditating, I'm thinking about food. And when I'm thinking about food, I'm always thinking about pizza. Tom, there is no food on the planet where the gap between consumption of it and thinking about it is larger than pizza, because I would eat it every day, and I don't.
Cold pizza or hot pizza, does it matter?
Slightly above room temperature pizza. This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, it's the barbecue episode, the Texas barbecue episode. That means brisket, the aforementioned brisket. Look, you can't have Top Chef Houston or Top Chef anywhere in the state of Texas where this isn't a tentpole episode, which is interesting, Tom, because I thought it was oddly a big, small episode. Huge stakes, it's barbecue, bragging rights, essential to the season's narrative, and yet it was a little bit kind of, I don't want to say anticlimactic. There were some nice moments, but it seemed like a small, big challenge.
It did. I think a lot of it was because brisket, it's hard to F up brisket, especially when they're not cooking it. It felt like a lot of that drama of how do I execute this dish, so much of it was taken away by they just handing the keys to the pit master, and it really didn't showcase their ability to cook. What it did showcase was, can you season the dish? And that was what was really upsetting, and we'll get into it about Ashley, is, you know, for her, the Appalachian cuisine, I kind of felt like she would be able to season and just nail this protein, and it didn't happen that way. So I'm with you. I thought this episode, I was really looking forward to, like, oh yeah, this is the main event. This is what everyone's been waiting for. And it did lack some of that drama. It did lack some of that magnitude of Top Chef.
It's a tough challenge for the producers themselves, right? Because, as you say, the chefs are responsible for seasoning their brisket. They're obviously responsible for sort of the handling, the resting of the meat. But it's that in-between period where, I mean, the pit masters separate from one another in terms of just skill and guile and just finesse. On the other hand, I don't know how a viewer of a competition show watches a chef watching meat or a smoker, right? Like, how would it play? That was the thing. I felt like that was essential. If you're going to be graded as a chef on your pit mastering skills, you should actually master the pit. And yet I don't know how you make television out of that. I mean, maybe it was one of those things where like they couldn't leave the room for 14 hours, right? Like we're almost they're hostage to their meat, which essentially is much of what pit mastering is. I mean, what makes it such a rarefied skill is it just requires discipline. I mean, it's tedious, right? Like, you know, my buddy Steve, Super Bowl traditionally, we got together, he'd bring his smoker, or we'd use my grill and he'd turn it into a smoker like MacGyver. And like Steve would come over at 7 a.m. on Super Bowl Sunday morning on the West Coast. And like, he would just be out there and like, wouldn't be able to go much stray far from the actual meat. And I wonder if again, I'm with you, it's strange. They weren't really graded as pit masters. They were graded as, well, it was basically a quick fire long form edition. It was, here's some brisket, you seasoned it, and yeah, you kind of have to rest it, even though that's not a huge thing. It's just watching a clock. Go make something out of this.
And I also feel like it's a little close to the beef episode, the first one, where it was just, it seemed like very similar to that. And when a lot of the dishes are coming out and it's, you know, the little tagline from Top Chef, the little copy that says that the dish itself, and it starts with smoked brisket, da-da-da-da-da. And like 7 of them were just smoked brisket, da-da-da-da-da. And so it did feel a lot of one note. The innovation of the dishes didn't really stand out, although my guy, Buddha, comes through again with a little bit of outside the box thinking. But yeah, let's start from the top, because we got a lot of Brooke Williamson. We got her on Last Chance Kitchen from last week as well. I think she is just, I mean, she could just do this show in her sleep. I think she's amazing.
Well,
she's super talented. I love Brooke Williams. I've always had a thing for Brooke from the beginning of Pack Your Knives. And now that she's part of this episode, she's got really good chemistry with Tom. And I know that she's not kind of the quintessential pitmaster or the barbecue expert, but I just love having her on the show.
I really like Brooke. One of my favorite contestants. I mean, she's sort of, as a contestant, always had that combination of confidence, humility at the sheer magnitude of the challenges. She was a little self-deprecating, a little bit of a skeptic. I always enjoyed her as a contestant. I like her as a judge. I don't love her as a host standing in front of today's chefs. I don't think she's a natural for that. But again, I'm a huge, I love Brooke Williamson. I don't know that she is the greatest MC for the show. I kind of like her in a more consulting role, right? Where she comes in on a big challenge, you know, provides support or guidance for, the chefs. But I don't know that I'm as in love with her as you are as a sort of MC, as sort of a game official, if you will.
You're saying she's more Scottie Pippen than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, well, I think it's more just like I like the more organic her function is on the show. Like, she's obviously a chef, so watching her be a contestant as a chef is awesome. As a judge, like, okay, she's obviously an accomplished chef and she could sit around with other accomplished chefs grading and dishing on food. That works for me. Is she a host? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know that she would. Let's put it this way. If you and I were starting a new cooking competition show, obviously I think she'd be on the long list. I don't know that she would be on the short list for me. Whereas like Melissa, to me, sort of has an absolute kind of perfect. Even Kwame, who I've had some issues with as a judge, I really like him as an MC.
Joe Flam also in there.
3 functions, right? How are you as a contestant? Are you charismatic? Do I want to watch you struggle in the kitchen, overcome things in the kitchen, present your food, etc.? 2 is, are you a good participant at the judge's table? And then number 3 is, are you actually a host? Do we want you standing up there saying, today, chefs, you are going to, I don't know, parachute out of a plane and make a beurre blanc on the way down.
Cook an omelet.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I like her in 1. I like her a lot in 2. I'm more ambivalent about 3.
We open with Brooke coming in, and she introduces the challenge of the day, which is the barbecue brisket. Yay, we're in Texas. And I have it in my notes. I don't know if you had the same pump fake here, where I wrote I started out with writing down quick fire challenge, and then wait a minute, no quick fire. Okay, we're doing this again. And so there was a curveball in the beginning. I fell for it. I thought that there was going to be no quick fire, and they start their brisket, and they're introduced to the pitmaster Willow, who's got a really cool story. If we have time, we'll hit that later. But the idea is, hey, we're going to do a brisket your way. And it's going to cook for 12 hours. So get it going now, and then we'll circle back tomorrow. And then, Kevin, we start to get a little feel for which direction they're going. And I think Ashley, initially was talking about potato slicks. I don't know what potato slicks are, but I learned that in this episode.
Potato slicks are basically flatter dumplings. They're not fully formed dumplings. They're more kind of dumplings on the fly. And I would very much welcome an actual chef to correct me on this, but that's always been my sense of kind of what slicks are.
I thought that she was going to do well here. Just the idea of maybe even doing like Lexington style brisket or something like that to go back to her North Carolina roots. And she does a little bit of that in her dish, but it wasn't composed. It wasn't really put together. But let's talk about the big star of the show this season, Jackson. Okay. Jackson is coming in here, Kevin, with no taste or smell. We've already done that, but he's very self-deprecating and confident, where he goes to the pit master himself and is like, I've never done brisket. I don't know what I'm doing. And in fact, I'm committing a cardinal sin by basically taking this beautiful cut of meat, slice of meat with the rind, with the beautiful crust. I just think that, that like trend on YouTube, maybe this is outdating us, unboxing, how like people will just watch people open packages or open gifts, unboxing things.
Wait, hold on. That's a thing.
Maze, back me up here. This is a thing, right?
Wait, open gifts?
Yep, it's a big thing, Kevin.
People taking videos of their kids on Christmas morning. Is that what you're talking about?
Unboxing is a huge thing on YouTube where you vulture in on someone unboxing.
You want the surprise reaction of the person.
Oh, wow. Look, open up the Nike.
I want all of our listeners to just imagine the sheer look of perplexitude on Kevin's face right now. He's never been more confounded by anything in his life.
Yes.
Wait, I can't, are we just like completely culturally impoverished that people watch, like I watch puppies all the time.
Yes.
By the way, I will watch a walrus play the saxophone at the Istanbul Zoo. I will watch a squirrel water ski. I get that. Maybe that's just a question of personal taste.
Unboxing is you get the sensation of opening up a gift, but you're not actually doing it yourself. And you get to have that dopamine hit of like the surprise. And the reaction is like, whoa, look at these shoes, or whoa, look at this TV, or whoa.
But I thought that's why we watch like Price is Right. Or a game show, like you watch the money go up and you watch the sheer thrill of someone who wins the car. A new car, right? Like that's the cultural meme, is a new car.
No, Kevin.
So this is nothing new about this.
Isn't it fun to get a package in the mail and like take your little knife or your keys and opening it up and having that big rush of like, oh, there it is in the box.
Oh yes, it's great watching like my prostate medicine come from Walgreens in the mail. Yeah, it's fantastic. Come watch me open that sometimes. It's fantastic.
All right, so Kevin, Ryan's World on YouTube, okay?
Yes.
It's a little kid named Ryan. 32 million subscribers on YouTube.
32 million.
His most popular video from 5 years ago, which is called Huge Egg Surprise Toys Challenge with Inflatable Water Slide. It's just him jumping on an inflatable water slide. 2 billion views.
Oh,
2 billion!
2 billion.
Oh, Ryan, go read a fucking book.
He'll unbox a book maybe, and then he'll put it aside next to all of his other items.
Oh, God.
And make $1 billion.
I know we want to get back to the show, but all right, let's do this mental exercise. Where's Ryan in 30 years?
His brain is destroyed. He's probably run through all of his YouTube money.
There's nothing left to unbox.
Or his parents embezzled it from him. There's a whole scandal. He sues his dad in about 15 years.
Exactly. He's going to be an emancipation in 15 years, right?
100%. The reason why I bring up unboxing is because I feel like a smoked brisket is like unboxing. It's this black blob, right? And no one knows how it's going to look when you cut it open. And it's kind of like the show. Is it cake? right? Where you slice open the brisket and you finally get to see how gooey it is inside, how fatty it is, and whether it was cooked well and how juicy it is. Man, I could watch a sliced brisket video on YouTube on repeat. I think that sensation is just dopamine crack. It's awesome. So when they're doing this episode, I'm just waiting to see when they cut open that brisket. Oh, it's so beautiful, Kevin.
I will not knock your hobbies. But as you said, there was a twist. There actually was a quick fire, which honestly, I don't think is like this massive twist. It's just, it's reordering the show. But they're going to do Texas toast, which is basically just fancy toast.
Fancy toast. Shouts to Carrie Baird. Yes, from Colorado. Love it.
Good to have the spirit of Carrie back. Top Chef Colorado. They're going to do Texas toast. Really interesting choices. There was a group of 3 chefs who decided to go sweet. Monique, Evelyn, and Buddha. Monique and Buddha actually both do millefeuille, which is that kind of layered pastry that's always so pretty. Evelyn also goes sweet. We have kind of a whole pizza division, Damar and Ashley.
Yeah, weird. I know you love it.
I mean, it's not necessarily what I would do with this, but Damar does a great pizza toast with some fried prosciutto. Ashley does a little pizza roll-up, which I think is kind of cute. Jay goes Vietnamese shrimp toast, which is a dish I love. But the 3 kind of toppers were Nick, Jackson, and Joe. Joe does a mushroom arugula toast. What did Jackson do again, Tom?
Jackson did the shrimp toast. It was a little acidic and spicy. And look, Jackson's just on fire, man. Yes. Like he can't do anything wrong.
No taste buds, no problem.
No problem, man. He is just, who needs senses when you can just cook your ass off? He is fantastic. And like the aw shucks attitude that he has where it's like, I can't believe I'm still doing this. But like, I'm basically committing all of these cardinal sins left and right and still coming out on top. He's a juggernaut. And he's an LA chef. I kind of feel like, Kevin, you got to start figuring out where he's cooking. You got to go hit up Jackson.
I got to go over to Venice and check out his place. But the winner, for the first time, I believe, am I correct? That Nick with his BLT on ciabatta.
Yep.
That looked delicious. Good to see Nick finish on top.
Yeah, he gets the 10K, and I want to spend a little time here on Buddha's what he would do with 10K, Kevin.
But there's a little bit at stake here. Whoever wins this challenge will win immunity and $10,000.
Oh, goddamn.
$10,000 for toast.
Game on.
If I was to win $10,000, I'd pay my pug's eye surgery. No it's gone blind.
I have lots of questions, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
How old is this pug?
41.
Maybe this is a young a puppy that just needs LASIK. Is that such a thing? I don't even know. Can dogs get LASIK?
I don't know, but I do think cataracts are very common in dogs.
Yeah.
I hope never to have to worry about it, but I do know that it is an issue.
Buddha says, no, I'm not going to, go spend it on a vacation. I'm not going to go put some money down for a new house or anything like that. He loves his dog so much, his pug, that he wants to help his pug out. And I thought that was amazing.
It is.
And I didn't know that there was such a thing. But you know what? Now that I have adopted a German Shepherd who I think Piper her eyes are okay. But now that I know that there is, corrective eye surgery possible, according to Buddha, now I know this whole world exists. So kudos to Buddha for stepping up and saying, this is what I would do. There are a lot of people out there that think, pets don't deserve that kind of investment. You know what? Shouts to Buddha getting in the top 3 later in the episode. But on this one, it was Nick who wins the immunity. And Buddha, usually when he won immunity, well, Damar did it too, just kicked ass. I feel like Nick, with this immunity, he did not go in that same direction. It was a little safe to me on his larger dish. But Kevin's team, Nick, Joe, and Jackson getting some points, chipping away on the fantasy scoring. You get 3 points for Nick and then 1 for Joe and 1 for Jackson. It's not my season so far, Kevin.
I was with you on Nick. I was a little disappointed he played it so safe, having immunity on the bar. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about that. 2 chefs that finished on the bottom in quickfire were Monique with her millefeuille, which is interesting because I had just said as recently, I think as last week, that I don't worry about Monique, right? Like she's not, she's not going to make any decisive errors at this point in the season. And do I think she's material for the finale? Probably not, but she's sort of a low variance chef. And then Luke, who to me is the quintessential high variant chef, testing Tom and
yeah. What do you do? Like there's a moment in this episode where he asks Nick how to like properly cook a brisket, where he's like, "What do I do here?" And Nick is like, "Oh, you smoke it by putting the fatty side down." And I thought that was a very nice thing for Nick to do, is to tell him how to do it. But it reminds me that Luke just out over his skis on a lot of these episodes.
But I think with Luke is he is going to have some more wins before it's all over, in the sense that I think in terms of variance, he is a guy who is at times the most creative chef in the kitchen. Will probably get a win or two before it's all over. But he's also a guy who can just misexecute a very basic quick fire, right? Like salt on salt. I mean, they called it a salt lick, his crawfish and chorizo emulsion on focaccia. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like he makes as much unedible food as anybody in that kitchen. And yet he also technically, as we saw last week,
he can bring it.
Is as advanced as anybody in that kitchen. And so he's one of those high variant chefs where, Tom, like, he might get you another 30 points before he flames out, but he also might next week completely just not put something on a plate or put something inedible on a plate. So whereas Monique, I thought, was a low variant chef, but with her kind of very like mille-feuille, like tea sandwiches, I think someone called it, one of the chefs, just didn't do well.
Yeah, when she was like, I got to bring some major flavor to this because it's too bland. And then she brings in like a mushroom that she basically, an uncooked mushroom. I was like, man, that's not going to really correct for that lack of flavor. But, on my team, she had 2 duds in this episode. She was in the bottom 3 for the quickfire and the bottom 3 later in the episode. So like you said, it seems like she was going to be in the middle, but she is definitely playing with fire here. So, we get a little glimpse of Ashley's unsalted or lack of seasoning for her brisket. She's worried about that when she first tastes it. I mean, talk about being ominous on Top Chef is when you get a brisket out and you're complaining that it's unsalted or not seasoned enough. That's a kiss of death. And I hope that she was going to bring in the components and be able to rally, but she was not able to do that.
I have some suggestions for her. I mean, I think I was disappointed in her plate, largely because, so one of the things in Texas, as in North Carolina as well, is like, there's an entire division when you see the sort of really good lists of best barbecue in Texas or best barbecue in the Carolinas. And it's the sandwich division. Right? Like a brisket, like there are places in Texas that are known like, why do you go to that place? Because they have the best sandwich. And I just thought that, now she did try to do a brioche. She didn't have enough time. But I was wondering if there was any way, she is by far and away the best baker in the field, right?
You're talking about Monique here.
Yeah, Monique. And I just felt like that Monique missed an opportunity in, even though you tried to do the brioche, why not just say, hey, all these other chefs are going to be doing their kind of slab of brisket on the plate with the components. I'm going to be the person who just does my take on what is one of the real sort of division leaders. Yeah. Staples of Texas cooking or Texas barbecue, which is the barbecue sandwich. And I made my bread and here's my sort of sauce and my top. Like, I thought that was a missed opportunity for Monique. She just kind of, I thought that's what she was going to do with the brioche.
I have a theory. I think she was going to do that, Kevin. But then when she couldn't cook it enough, she realized she can't have that be a central player on the plate. She had to toss it to the side. I think the plan was to do a sandwich and then realize I got to call an audible here when it didn't settle.
And so that's why we get this lame ass sabis and potatoes and
Yeah.
Because that was sort of like a Monique making a I had this thing like, she could win making a barbecue sandwich with her version of the Texas toast, like as the thing, while everyone else is kind of putting large hunks of meat on a plate with random pickles and whatever else.
It's beginning to be a little worrisome, Kevin, in this episode or in Top Chef this season. I feel like when people are like, this is my forte, I'm going to do my cooking and I'm just going to nail it. It hasn't worked out for the chefs. I remember Stephanie saying the same thing about beef, is just like meat and potatoes. I can do that. Maze rightfully chiming in here in the chat. Sam's potatoes. I do potatoes better than anybody. I'm going to do potatoes. The Samaloo. Then we have Joe saying, I'm going to do pasta because I do pasta. That's my thing. I'm going to do pasta. And she goes almost out. And also you have Monique who's like, you know what? I might not have time to bake this brioche, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm a baker. I know how to do bread. This is beginning to be a little bit of a cautionary tale. whenever you decide to be like, you know what, I'm going to go back to my roots, and I know it's really not for this challenge, but I'm going to do something that I know I can do well. And they fuck it up. They fuck it up more often than not. It's so bizarre.
It's a funny show, though, because so Jackson and Joe both make the same decision, which, to your point, is the sharpest tools in my shed is pasta making. So I'm going to make a pasta. Now, I had the red flag on Jackson. I'm like, again, we one of the themes of our commentary over the years is there are these obvious cardinal sins in Top Chef, right? Don't buy store-made or canned chickpeas or packaged waffles, right? Like, don't like. And one of the great hallmarks of the show in terms of do's and don'ts is keep the main thing the main thing. Like, that ingredient is supposed to be showcased. It's a star. It's a brisket challenge. So when I see Jackson coming off a pretty strong quick fire performance decide he's going to make pasta, I'm just like, dude, come on. This is the sand trap. This is where you know to avoid this, which is you're going to, if you have to ask, is it sacrilege in Texas to grind brisket? The answer is yes. If you have to ask on Top Chef, the answer is yes. And yet, he and Joe both choose the same tack. And yet Joe comes this close to being eliminated, and Jackson possibly comes this close to winning. And perhaps the lesson for me is the rules are the rules until they're not the rules, or it's all about the execution, right? Like, the truth is, feel free to make brisket pasta, but make it good, or make sure. And there were some very nice, I think the answer is that he had the frame of mind, in the presence of mind rather, to make a burnt end and cornbread crumble.
Is there anything better than a burnt end, Kevin? I'm sorry. I know you're off the whole meat thing.
No,
but...
I know the joy of a burnt end, but also even the BBQ sauce, making a beurre rouge out of. So what he did is it was his compensation. It was almost a nod, and I think the judges appreciated it. It's like, hey guys, I know this is a brisket challenge, and I know I'm doing the thing that the chef is not supposed to do, which is put it through a freaking grinder
and put it in pasta. Yeah,
exactly, and stuff pasta full. But what I will do is acknowledge. So I'm going to have some creative touches. A BBQ sauce, a cornbread and burnt-in crumble, and I thought that was it. Whereas Joe is just basically like, some cabbage, corn, kale, harissa. By the way, cabbage, corn, and kale. There are things I like about all three of those things. Is there anything, like, Tom, if you look at that's what I want, like kale, corn, and cabbage.
I mean, I get it if you're going to lighten up something that's super heavy, but she screwed up in that she didn't even feature any of the brisket. So you end up having a pasta dish with a bunch of, filler, bland items that are supposed to soak up that fat that is supposed to cut through the savoriness of a brisket. And she doesn't bring any brisket to the table. Whereas on the other side, I thought Jackson was smart, and he said, you know what, I'm going to do pasta, but it's going to be a scarpanoche, right? Or a scarpanacci, or whatever you call it.
I'm not good with my little pasta shapes, but it seemed like something that allowed
But his idea was, I'm going to do a very thinly sliced pasta where the star of the show is going to continue to be the brisket. Whereas Joe confused the two and did a reversal, is that the pasta is going to be the star and the ancillary.
Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
The supporting actor in this is going to be the Brisket. And I thought she was going to go home. I was actually surprised that Ashley went home. Monique, like you said, kind of what the whole brioche thing. We love the bone marrow aspect, the honey glaze like that. I get that. But the idea didn't come together. I thought Ashley was going to be safe because I just thought that Joe was a total dud. That dish was a total dud. And it was one of those things where, you know how the rule of Top Chef is don't fuck up the protein, and she fucked up the protein on this one. Like, she didn't even bring it to the table. There was almost no brisket to be set for. So I thought in this episode we were going to see Joe go home, which is Team Kevin. You get to keep her. Ashley is kicked out.
Ashley, please pack your knives and go.
Thank you. This has been a really great opportunity.
Listen, we'll see you on Last Chance Kitchen, and my advice is always cook from your heart.
Thank you. Thank you, Chef.
Oh, this f***ing sucks. Sucks.
There's always Last Chance Kitchen, right?
I enjoy being thoughtful and intentional in everything I do, but I just overthought, and it's very unfortunate for me right now.
I didn't expect that at all.
It's a blow to my confidence, but I'm ready for Last Chance Kitchen. I'm determined to win.
Kevin, I screwed up on the drafting. We both did on the drafting. We had a top 4 of, you went with Robert, and then I went with Buddha, Ashley, and then you came in with Sarah, and now 3 of those 4 are gone.
It's bad, and we'll do a redraft in a few minutes. I don't want to bury the lead here, which is, I think, the best story of the episode was the hometown win for Evelyn.
Yes.
What's really great about it is, not only is it a hometown win, but it's not as if pitmastering is her trade. She obviously does a lot of Southeast Asian flavors and techniques. She draws from Mexican techniques and flavors and prep, and yet here she goes and does something. Talk about a cardinal that don't make curry for Padma. Never mind curry out of brisket, and she does this lovely dish that is just so homey. A top of like a brisket curry, a top of aromatic rice, lemongrass, scallions, some pickled relish, and this crumble that I honestly, Tom, I want to see if I can do some approximation of this. Pistachio, garlic, and burnt end crumble. Nutty, pungent, meaty, like what a great way to introduce texture into something that can kind of get overwhelmed by sauce, rice and salt. Like it was such a great idea and a way to both work your strengths. It's something that a lot of the other chefs had trouble doing, which is, how do I incorporate my strengths, which have nothing to do with pit mastering, into a dish that is supposed to feature smoked brisket. And as you said, it was interesting as I'm writing out, everybody's was smoked brisket with, and she was one of the non-withers. She and Jackson were the non-withers. And to some extent, you could argue Buddha as well.
Buddha too, yeah.
Such a departure. He also finished at the top. Beef bourguignon with brisket, a potato croquette, that lovely little rose petal made out of a raw beet, caramelized onion jam, bacon. But Evelyn, to win the hometown challenge, which meant a ton to her, clearly one of the most likable chefs we've seen come through in a long time, is just a benevolent spirit, yet not precious either. Like I'm becoming a huge Evelyn fan. I kind of lucked out with this pick, and has a lot of game. I mean, she really is strong.
Talk about threading the needle on this one, Kevin. Not only is she got so much pressure in being the hometown chef and seeing, it's not just one thing to be cooking in your hometown, it's another to be presenting your food to a room full of people that are your friends, are your family. It's like this is the fraternity that they're of Texas barbecue in Houston. She mentioned she's a part of it. Not only did she have that kind of pressure going into this episode, she also had the Padma curry thing.
In 19 seasons, all the curries that have been attempted on this show, Padma
and cast around it just came together perfectly.
In 19 seasons, all the curries that have been attempted on this show, Padma always has issues with them.
I had absolutely no issue with your curry. Where have you been all my life? This is the curry I've been looking for.
In Houston, apparently.
Hats off to Evelyn on this episode, because she really just had the degree of difficulty and the pressure. She could have really screwed up here and falling prey to just the hometown pressure and the curry dynamic. Man, what a win from her.
Listen, I don't want to. I want to be careful with comps. I know we do this in basketball recklessly, and it is very early. But in terms of, I had to kind of place her in the Top Chef ecosystem. There's a lot of Chef Gregory in her, and I just want to go back for a couple of episodes to sort of a lot of the wins she's been putting up on the board. The adobo con queso with taro chips. Remember the queso challenge? Finishes near the top, right? The chilled, remember we talked about the chilled poached chicken salad with rambutan and avocado crema on a sesame crisp. This is a really gutsy thing. You have lychee with a chilled, and it again finishes at the top. Remember the biscuit challenge with her poached egg, chorizo country gravy, and marinated tomatoes. What I'm saying with Gregory is there's that thing where he always finished near the top, and you looked at the plate and you're like, oh, he just combined kind of a little spice, a little sweet, a little acid, like that nice combinations where there's nothing molecular going on there. It is just precise, like the exact perfect ratio and assembly of all those different aspects. She did it again with this one and even the last week when she finished toward the bottom. Like, frankly, I don't think it was her goat cheese cheesecake and cardamom chocolate sauce that was the problem. The problem was Joe's pork belly that was neither crispy nor tender and cauliflower puree. But the thing is, she's just racking up wins. I mean, again, she did pretty well in the Texas Toast. She's not making a lot of errors except in team competition, and she is doing that thing where really that one, and you realize that she knows how to apportion out characteristics on the plate, and I just, again, it's very Chef Gregory to me in terms of if you're looking for sort of who's her tree in the Top Chef ecosystem, and I think it is Gregory.
I love that comp. That's a very astute observation on the Gregory thing, because I hadn't really put those two together. And now that you mentioned the ingredients and the elements of her dishes, it does have a through line there. So I think she has been coming on really strong, very sneaky here. And in our point system right now, she's the second top scorer. You have Jackson at 26. Head and shoulders above the competition, maybe nose and tongue above the Nope, he doesn't have those senses. So nope, poor metaphor there.
I want to go back to Ashley a little bit. I was very high on her. She came out of the box like really strong. That kitfo in the very first week with the red rice crumble. I'm loving what she's doing. She won. She beat Luke in that little head-to-head football thing with those turkey meatballs with the teff. Remember, she's working with these sort of Ethiopian flavors. She's really looking strong. The beef skewer at the night market, a little strange. The daikon was too bad. Just seems sort of but it's kind of been a really fast decline. The fried pepper, black pepper biscuit, that fried biscuit with the massive hunk of ham looked very but then comes back with the great that's with Luke last week with the scallop with the king oyster mushroom. Looks the same, acts the same, doesn't taste the same, and yet here she's back. I mean, it's just she's really been struggling. I don't think the pizza roll-up was anything to write home about, probably, and now it's done, and I'm just really sort of happened quickly. Just sort of like one of those pitchers that's going through, mowing them down, and then like everything, like the wheels fall off, and they fell off quickly here.
Rick Ankiel might be a good comp.
Rick Ankiel, yeah.
Where it's just you forgot to do your food. You forgot how to pitch. You forgot to throw it down the pipe. And I think Ashley, what can you say? She screwed up a bunch of times, and she was lucky to stay in the competition. And here she finally goes home. I thought maybe Joe deserved to go home, but that was my guess going into that last moment there at the judges table. Ashley just, I don't know. They kept saying that she's overthinking things.
That was sort of a strange sort of rap. I don't. Yeah. Is that what's going on there?
She didn't season her food.
She was underseasoned. Yeah,
it's underseasoned. That's the opposite. She just forgot the most important thing, which was like make sure it's seasoned.
Also, nobody wants a piece of brisket dropped in a soup. This isn't overthinking. I think it's just bad judgment. Like nobody wants. Look, I'm off the red meat now, but I have spent more hours driving the roads of Central and West Texas looking for barbecue and finding it and devouring it Nobody ever. You talked it. You said it yourself, right? A few minutes ago. There's nothing like that open box of cutting that watching them cut that cut of fatty brisket and the juices that's been perfectly rested. There's nothing about that says, you know what? I wish it wasn't in that great butcher paper. I wish this thing was sitting in a goop of cream collard soup. Like who's asking for that?
No, not me.
And I'm frustrated because I was a huge fan of Ashley. Like I was disappointed you nabbed her fourth. I wanted to, I loved her fish fry. I loved her. I mean, I was very excited to see sort of kind of Appalachian / Ethiopian cooking. There was everything about her I really like. And I'm just sort of disappointed. I don't think there's overthinking here. I think there is just nobody wants the massive piece of radish on their beef skewer. Nobody wants their brisket dropped in soup. Like it's not an overthinking, it's an underthinking. The only thought that should be in your head is, how is this best consumed? And repeatedly in the last few weeks, she's made bad judgments, I think, on that question.
Yeah, the fried biscuit too, where it's just
nobody wants a fried biscuit. What's the pleasure of a biscuit? Is when it's tactile and the fluffy or the layers if it's a drop, like whatever it is. Like it's just nobody wants a fried greasy biscuit. The biscuit already does enough work itself. But anyway, I'm disappointed for you. I mean, I enjoy winning the week in terms of points, but I like to watch these chefs. I mean, look, one of my complaints about this season is I think that the median chef contestant is worse than it's been in quite some time. I'm sorry.
You know what I noticed in this episode, and kudos to you on this for picking up on it. It felt more serious this episode, that we didn't get any of the shenanigans from our friend Sam. It did feel a little bit more grown up this episode.
In what respect?
Without Sam.
Oh, you mean like, yeah, okay.
It felt a little bit more adult. It felt like we've got some really serious chefs, and it did feel like I didn't quite realize how much Sam was lowering not the IQ level, but just lowering the seriousness of the show, and in a way that I didn't quite feel until I watched this episode. And like, maybe we need a little bit more of that whimsy, cartoonish character. I actually didn't miss him in this episode.
Yeah. I feel like I want to kind of not so much apologize to our listeners. There's something about this season that isn't clicking for me here yet. It just isn't. And by the way, that's not to take anything away from Evelyn's lovely dish, and it's been fun to watch Buddha work, and Damar keeps pulling rabbits out of his hat. But there's something about this season that isn't clicking for me right now, and I just think it's a combination of factors. It is that I do think it's a little soft. I didn't think this challenge was terribly creative. I don't think the chefs are incredibly skilled. I'm seeing fewer LeBron moments. Wow, and I'm not getting it. And I don't know necessarily. And hey, it's early, but I'm a little bit. And look, as I've always said, the worst Top Chef is better than any other competition show I ever watch. So there's that. But I mean, maybe it's a good time for us to kind of redraft. Maybe I'm mad at myself for my bad talent analysis.
Well, yeah, let's do a redraft of the remaining contestants. There's 9 contestants left. I'm going to give you the first pick because you are the winner right now. Leader in the clubhouse with 74 points to my 43 to 3 for Maze. We'll get to that in a little bit. Who would you take with your number 1 overall pick?
Though he's only ranked 4th in fantasy total, I would go with Buddha. I just think there's more upside there. I think he's got techniques that are going to come in extremely handy when some of the lesser chefs are off the board, and it's good versus good versus good versus good. And I just think that Buddha would be that choice for me.
Me too. I have him number 1, even though he trails Jackson in the scoring system. I would have Buddha too. I think he just consistently churns out great dishes, and though they're not winning every time, you see that there's actual thinking behind it and an actual story, and it comes together. He has the highest upside for me. And as the number 2 pick, I'll take Jackson here. I overestimated the old not having senses thing. He's he's got a warm personality that I think is helpful for him, that he can have other people taste the food and give him recommendations. And so that, if he's Mr. Stooge or whatever you want to call it, like you're not being able to lean on people for, help on tasting the food. I think Jackson, a really strong number 2 here, right behind Buddha. Number 3, I'll go with Evelyn. I don't know if you have it in the same order, Kevin, the 2 contestants on your team.
I have DeMar and Evelyn right neck and neck. To me, it was one of those, watching you, I would happily take whoever you didn't take there, right? Like, to me, Evelyn and DeMar are neck and neck in my book.
Yeah. Did you have Jackson 2 there? So Buddha, then Jackson.
Yeah, I did have Jack. I've seen enough to know that this guy's just not making a hell of a lot of mistakes. He's consistently in the top third of every quick fire, other than the Mr. Crispy Queso, which he had a nice last laugh on. He's been pretty much just chalking up W's.
All right, so we'll go Buddha, Jackson, Evelyn, DeMar. Can't really argue with that.
Right, I have DeMar. If you take Evelyn, I take DeMar 4th, and then I take very quickly Jay 5th, who I think is now really asserting herself, which basically leaves Joe, Luke, and Monique kind of in the and Nick. So I it'd be interesting to see who you would, if I took DeMar and Jay, who do you turn around and take 6th and 7th out of those 4 remainders?
I take Nick. I think Nick has another level that he hasn't shown yet. He's winning. He has shown that he can get into that top 3. And obviously with the most recent quick fire, I think he's really strong. And he and DeMar, we had him at the very bottom of our draft, but I think they are supremely on top of Luke and Joe. I just don't think Luke, Joe, and Monique are definitely in my bottom. I think Nick is in a different tier.
If you're asking me next to go, it might be, I never said this. I thought I was totally assured of her competence, but Monique is just, I think, scuttling. Going back to the barbecue, one of the things something new I've started doing is trying to guess. We know who the 3 top and who the 3 bottom were in this 10-person. I imagine that it's that DeMar and Jay finished 4th and 5th, or 5th and 4th. The judges really like Jay's Cajun brisket. They love DeMar's. What he assembled with the candied yams and the braised cabbage and the consomme and the pickles, just kind of perfectly. Another Chef Gregory type dish. I had them 4th. I had Luke probably 7th.
Yep.
Oh no, Nick 7th. Nick would have been 4th on the bottom with his boring carrot puree, his boring collard green gremolade, and his boring harissa sauce.
Yeah, immunity didn't really, he kind of mailed it.
Yeah, he just phoned it in, which was really disappointing. Show me a little something. You got immunity. You can do anything you want. And then so I had him 7th. I had Luke 6th with his brisket and onion sauce. And then 5th or 4th, DeMar, Jay or DeMar. And then obviously the top 3. What else did we learn?
Well, just to round out, we got Monique after Nick. I think I'd go Luke and then finish out with Joe. That's how I would have it on my big board.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I got Buddha at number 1, Jackson 2, Evelyn 3, DeMar 4, Jay 5, Nick 6, Monique 7, Luke 8, and Joe at the last pick.
Luke's the toughest one because, again, he's high variance. If you told me, hey, there are a series of technical challenges coming up and he just hit him out of the park, I wouldn't be surprised if he racked up another, 15 points before we saw him leave. And then if you told me he just craps out at the next elimination because he makes something completely unedible, I would say, yeah, that sounds right too.
Yeah, it feels weird not to have Jackson number 1 after being in the top 5 on 5 straight challenges. But I do think that Buddha has the most upside. And Jackson, what if he starts getting his taste buds back? He has that extra gear he can hit. So maybe we weren't giving enough love to Jackson, but he does go flying up our board from the initial draft to at the number 2 position here. So
counterpoint, Tom, counterpoint. What if he is hindered by his ability to taste and actually slows him down because he's been operating in this blindness, and then once the vision comes back, he loses a step? What happens then?
This is why we loved having Maze, chiming in here with the, not ombudsman here, but I love that because when you look at this, maybe that is kind of a crutch that he needs, is the fact that he's not tasting his own food. He's relying on other people. I just worry that can hurt him, Maze, is that once we get down to 3, 4, 5 chefs left, they're not going to be so nice.
Right.
I think maybe everyone's so nice on this show now.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone gets their participation trophy.
You know what, though, Kevin?
What?
If a certain chef comes back on this show, I feel like we will get our villain.
Who?
Last Chance Kitchen. We had 3 contestants on Last Chance Kitchen this week. We had Robert, Sarah, Leah. Robert actually kind of throws Sarah under the bus this week and saying,
I saw that.
She's the reason why I am here. I thought I pulled my own weight and she did not. And I wonder how Sarah feels about that watching the Last Chance Kitchen, because we know a lot of times we've talked to chef testants after the fact. They watch this show not knowing which one of their commentaries are going to be clipped, what they're going to use on the show. And they don't get to see everyone else's confessional. So Sarah watching Last Chance Kitchen this week and hearing Robert throw her under the bus. Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. So you think Leah is villain material?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because she's got a chip on her shoulder. She was sick, as Maze has repeatedly shown us the light on. She was sick and she feels like, hey, that was a technicality. I should be in this competition still. And I don't know, kind of underdog story. I feel like she's going to come in and be like Iron Chef America. She has that pedigree, Kevin. I feel like she's going to come in here like it's WWE and her music is going to come out and the rest of that crew doesn't want to hear her music. I think they know that Leah, man, I feel like I'm taking all of Maze's talking points here is that Leah is a crouching tiger here.
No, I don't disagree.
Look, there's a reason that they've left her in Last Chance Kitchen, that they haven't elevated her to the big show. The rest of the chef testants aren't ready for this, okay? They gave me a little bit of a scare with this Sarah winning the first part of Last Chance Kitchen challenge, but then they said who had the best dessert. And when I caught a glimpse of those ricotta donuts, I knew it was game over for Robert. Leah is coming for the knife.
That caramel sauce was really good looking.
Looked great.
That was some good looking caramel sauce. I love Mia. I like. And when you went to like McDonald's as a kid, Tom, did you get the chocolate or the caramel sundae?
Oh, the caramel.
Absolutely. Remember they had the strawberry for a while? That was good.
Yeah. The apple pie, 2 apple pies for $2. I was big on that one too.
I don't know. I was always partial to, in Atlanta, there's a chain called the Varsity. Not a chain, actually. It's like 1 or 2. But there's a burger place. It's famous, largest fast food restaurant in the world for a very long time. And they had that kind of a much frankly better version of the apple pie and a peach pie as well. But I was always, to me, that's a really good Rochart is, do you like the chocolate or the hot caramel? Meanwhile, because like we can't get the hot anymore, apparently like there was some suit in the 80s or 90s where like the hot fudge and the hot caramel in the McDonald's like sundae was fusing with the plastic of the cup. And so they had to make it
really?
Right. Because remember how perfect that hot was relative to the cold soft serve?
Yes. Oh yeah.
They don't, let you do that anymore because apparently it was like, it was like burning the plastic and then you would eat and turn into a Martian or something.
Well, I thought what was interesting about this Last Chance Kitchen is that Robert goes home for, I think more because of the ceviche rather than the buttermilk cream pancake.
It's so boring.
The pancake, you're saying?
No, ceviche.
Oh,
I love ceviche.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but like you're not going to beat a jerk piece, like a prepared piece of it. I mean, you could even see Tom when judging the ceviche. He's like, it was fine for ceviche. It was just like there's such a ceiling on ceviche, and I think it's one thing to have it again on a one-on-one, or you just need to be good enough not to go out. But I think in a Top Chef Last Chance Kitchen, only one of these 3 dishes is going to be the winner. There's no way you're going to win with ceviche.
No, you're not. It's such a safe dish because there's actually no cooking involved. You just dice it up, throw in some acid, and that's it. And so I thought that the fact that he was using the cream rather than the buttermilk, he was really going to screw up, and he had to do a much thinner pancake, which actually, plot twist, Brooke Williamson actually enjoyed. And so that was surprising to me.
It did look very sad, though.
It really did look like vom. I'm sorry. It did not look very good. And Robert goes home after throwing his dear friend Sarah under the bus. The tire marks are still on her back, and she is remaining in the competition with Leah. It is very confusing. Now they're expanding the bracket with 2 different chefs in Last Chance Kitchen, bringing in a 3rd chef to go against them. We'll see how that goes, but I just love Tom is bringing a lot of heat with the bad puns. Padma too. Padma's been dusting off her pun machine recently as well.
It's a function of age, Tom. It is a function of age.
That's right. And I think Tom is I love Last Chance Kitchen. And, we get to see Sarah and Leah move on, which means that Maze, your fantasy team has 3 points.
1 point at a time, baby.
Congratulations. I don't know how soon we are to getting the call up to the big leagues, but she can't be too far away.
They can't keep her out of the competition for too much more time, folks. Yeah. Coming for it.
I think one of the things that's happening, Tom, if I saw the previews, it does appear that there's going to be an Ashley, Sarah, Leah playoff, and someone's coming back, it looks like.
Let's go, baby!
Woo-wee. Someone's coming back.
I am rooting for Ashley to win for selfish reasons, for Team Haberstroh, but actually my heart wants Leah to come back.
I think Leah would be a great story.
We need some of that, right? We need a little bit of a story arc in this season of Top Chef. Kevin, I read a really cool story about one of the chefs the pit master from this episode. I thought it was really cool. I just wanted to give a shout out to the actual article for people if they want to read it at Texas Monthly. Old meets new at Houston's latest gem, J Bar and Barbecue. A cool story about how a 93-year-old restaurateur is backing this Texas barbecue joint from that pitmaster that we saw from J Bar M, which is a weird name for a shop there, a barbecue shop, but it is a really cool story. Willow Villarreal and his wife Jasmine Barella, a story if you want to read and just kind of get a little bit of a backstory. I thought that was really nice. So check that out at Texas Monthly. And you know what, Kevin? Like I'm with you. We need a little bit more drama on this show, or a little bit. It's too soft. It's too soft in the belly, in the middle. We need some little story arc, a little plot twist in this season, and Leah coming back would, I think, fulfill that. So I'm rooting for that.
You've sold me. I think we need a jolt of Leah, but still fun stuff, Tom. It is fascinating to see kind of the chef arcs. I'm excited about Evelyn. I think Jackson's a good story. And look, maybe as the field winnows down, we'll get some sharp elbows. We shall see. Any closing thoughts, Tom?
Buddha's going to win it all, baby.
For Tom Haberstroh, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.